Right. I'll remind people the views and services offered by startanew are not intended to be a substitute for professional medical service, but as an alternative for those who are seeking solutions for better health. We do not claim to diagnose, treat, prevent, or cure any disease, but simply help you make physical and mental changes in your own body in order to help your body heal itself. Keep in mind that results may vary, and if you're pregnant, nursing, taking medications, or have a serious condition, you should consult a physician or other appropriate medical professionals prior to using any products or information that we share. By all means, if you are convicted of something that you want to change, talk to your, if you're in the habit of, checking with your doctor or a health professional, it's always advisable. Okay, this session is for you if you're facing lifestyle health challenges like cancer, diabetes, heart issues, COVID-19, or, similar conditions. Or if you're already in the, should I say, on the road to a healthier life journey, then, it'll help you to move to the next level. This session is also for you if you wonder if there is a connection between you, your eating habits, and your environment. And this session is also for you if you believe that lifestyle changes are a natural consequence of age and heredity. So, sometimes we make statements, but I just wanted to remind ourselves, what we're doing and who it's for. So today, overview again of a healthy lifestyle, but we're going to talk a little bit more specific about certain things, the importance of a holistic lifestyle, and amazing health benefits of having a plant-based diet, nutrients needed to heal our bodies. And then, that includes if you have health challenges like blood pressure, like diabetes, like cancer. And colors, fats, and sugars. Now, this is an interesting topic, I think, because we talk about it, we see it without realizing how important it is. Okay, startanew. It's a very simple mnemonic, but I like startanew for various reasons. Today is a new day, and like the Bible says, God's mercies are new every morning. It doesn't matter what you have done in the past, you still can start again. And however slow you are in taking the first step, it doesn't matter. The fact that you're able to take a new step in the right direction will help your body tremendously. Sunlight, yes, you in India are, benefit with a lot of sunlight, but make sure that you don't have too much of sunlight. But what is interesting, even if you have too much of sunlight, if your immune system is good, then, because if you have too much sunlight, you could have cancer of skin cancer, etc. However, if your immune system is functioning well, your body will protect you. We've got trust in God, it's relationships. If you don't believe in God, then it's still relationships, and accepting that there is more to us than just us. There is somebody who has created us and is interested in our well-being. Air, fresh air, yeah, deep breathing. That's why it is a good idea to go out for walks, because there you have sunshine, you've got fresh air, you've got oxygen, all that is essential. Plus you've got the exercise added to it. Rest, yeah, it is important to rest. It's important to get to bed at a decent time. And sometimes as adults, by the time you've done your work, you've done your cleaning, you've taken care of all the kids, you could be pushing your time to go to bed later and later. And because we've got the lights to keep us awake, or TVs to keep us awake, we don't realize that our sleep is even more important. Temperance, it's not, temperance is, keeping our bodies safe from harmful things. from smoking and drinking, true. From medications, no, when I say that, I'm talking about if you can do your natural remedies and making sure that you're following a healthy lifestyle, then medications automatically fall off the scale because you don't need them. But if you are on medications, again, please make sure that you're in touch with your doctor. But we're also talking here of excessive fats, excessive sugars. That is all part of temperance. Temperance is not just eating and smoking and drinking. It is also not going to bed at a decent time. It's also overworking. Nutrition, we're looking at that, so I'll leave that for a minute. Exercise, I'm so glad that some of you have said that you're doing more exercise. And when I say exercise, it doesn't have to be going to the gym. I didn't have time this morning because I was really busy trying to do various things. So I just put a video on YouTube, and I, did some exercise at home because that was most convenient today. Water, yeah, we'll be looking at water, but are you drinking enough? Because if you're not, then, your body will sometimes get used to it, but you will have various health challenges as well. Okay, so that was the one thing challenge which I left with you yesterday, making some kind of a change in your normal diet today, or in your lifestyle, should I say. And I'm glad that some of you have. If you haven't, today is a new day. Well, tomorrow will be a new day, and you can see if you can make that change, however small. If you can make that change. See, if you just come and listen and don't put anything into practice, it seems a waste of this hour or whatever time that we spend together. So let food be your medicine. Let's look at the cost of not eating right. What's not eating fresh, raw fruits and veg to the level that you desire or that your body requires costing you? Could it be costing your health? Could it be costing your energy, your vibrancy, your body confidence? Rather than just saying, oh, I don't like the shape of this body, is there something that you can do? What about great sleep? What emotional poise that could you have? The mental clarity. All that is because you're not eating right. Great relationships, better performance, and performance in different fields that you can think of. What about higher income? The truth is that I see many people who want to eat more fresh, raw fruits and vegetables for many different and important reasons, and yet they're still not actually doing it. And hence my request, make changes today. Don't wait for tomorrow. Hope is not a strategy, as they say. So if you've reached the point where you realize that wishful thinking still isn't working, then this is your moment of opportunity. And I truly mean that. I'm going to show you a few pictures. I just want you to look, and then it's only 2 or 3 pictures. And I want you to say, what am I highlighting here? Okay. What am I highlighting? You can put it in the chat if you like, but one answer at least would be good.
Is it all the different colors?
Colors, thank you. Yes.
Yes.
I'm showing you the different colors because that is what is around us. But why is it important? Many times, I talk many times about having a rainbow rainbow on your plate. Your plate should be, you don't think about, oh, have I got vitamin A and B and C or iron, or have I got enough protein? Have I got enough carbs? When you're dishing out your plate or when you're cooking, that's not what you're looking at. A person who's going to be eating is going to be looking at the plate. And having different colors on the plate is lovely, really. All these colors, they are really nice and you want to try some. That's why they're so colorful. Even the birds know that. I think God made us so that we like it that way as well. So think of your plate. You've had your evening meal, you've probably had your lunch, you've had your breakfast. How much color was on your plate? Or was there any color? So why am I talking about the colors? It's because it looks pretty. Yes, it does look pretty. But more importantly, all these colors have a reason. So let's look at the reasons. Remember, I said to you, I like the why, because if you know the why, it's easier to do certain things. Red group, there's so much red around. Apart from the red chilies, which you're familiar with, let's look at what the red group does. It helps fight heart disease. They help fight cancer. They reduce inflammation. They enhance the immune system by acting as antimicrobial agents. That's fighting the bacteria and the viruses. And they help regulate hormones, such as estrogen and insulin. Did you know that red is that important? So, have you got red on your plate? What about the yellow and orange? You've got a whole variety there. It boosts your immune system. It protects your eyes. It protects against cancer, helps bone marrow produce red and white blood cells, repairs DNA to help fight against cancer, and helps convert carbs to energy. How many of you had yellow on your plate? And this is not occasionally, okay? If you want this to work, it has to be on your plate regularly. What about the green group? The green group is particularly important. Helps transport oxygen to the blood, supports your immune system, protects eye health, helps prevent birth defects, helps bone marrow produce red and white blood cells, repairs DNA to help protect against cancer. The white group. Now, the white group, I don't know if you can recognize, but I've got leeks over there, but I'm not sure if leeks are grown in India. Maybe, I'm not sure. But you've got cauliflower, you've got mushrooms, you've got garlic, you've got white onion. So, he's got a range of items over there. And what does white group? It helps lower the level of LDL and HDL, that's the bad and the good cholesterol. So it helps lower levels of LDL, and it helps, and the HDL is improved as well. Great immune boosting effect on body, minimize risk of colon, prostate, and breast cancer, can boost iron levels, and support bones circulatory system. Oh, we've got parsnips there as well. Okay, so that's what your colorful plate is looking like. Because when you've included your grains and your lentils and beans, that will give you color as well. But then your fruits give you color, your nuts give you color, and your vegetables give you the color as well. Salads. When I suggest to people, have a salad as a starter, because sometimes when you've cooked many times, the color on your plate is white because of the rice, which is white rice, and then a color which can be brown. I mean, think about what's on your plate. It might look very nice because you know what the taste is and you've familiarized with that taste. But apart from that, there's no color. I was doing a session with a group in Dubai, and I was talking to these ladies. There was quite a large group of ladies. And I didn't specifically have this in mind, but just mentioned to them, I said, you can have white rice and a piece of chicken, and that's what you're serving to your children. And I saw different ladies smile, and they said, yes. I said, what are you saying yes to? She says, that's what we feed our children, white rice and a piece of chicken. I said, what color is on there? Oh, well, they won't eat anything otherwise. Who's the mother and father here? What are we feeding our children? If we don't have that on the plates and we don't have it on the table for us to eat, the children are not going to eat either. So we have a big responsibility to make sure that the rainbow plate, make it fun. And if they don't like one texture, they might like another. So we need to try different things, but always make it a colorful plate. Okay, sources of fats and sources of sugars. On the left, you've got good sources of fats. Now, fat is very important. When I talked about fats yesterday, I was really saying, don't, have oil on the thing, because I talked about it negatively. Now, we need fats. Our brain needs fats. But what we need is good fats. And these are the natural good sources. Nuts, good fats, flax seed, avocado. These are all the good fats that need to be included in our diet. What about the good sources of sugar? I mean, you take any fruit. Sometimes it could be sweet and tart, but you've got a whole lot of sugar, whole lot of sweetness in there. But this is what we have, should I say, which is becoming the norm. You probably don't have it, but that is the norm. We've got burgers and samosas and bhajias and biryani and all kinds, lots of fat. And then lots of sugar too. Okay, this I've chosen because this is more like the Western diet. However, the Indian diet has a lot of sugar as well. They taste nice. I know, I like it too. But I say to people, I'm not saying no to any of this all the time. But if you have it once in a while, Christmas comes once a year. But if we start eating Christmas food every day, that's the problem. Because then the body can't cope with it. And look at all the amount of oil that we're using. Body cannot deal with some of these fried things. Again, it's tasty, but that is because that's what we've got used to. And we can look at this picture, which is normally on our plates, and then look at this picture. Big difference. Remember, we are living bodies with living cells, but we're eating dead food. Difficult to have dead food for living bodies. Look at the vibrancy of this and look at the vibrancy of what could be on your plate. Oops. So there's rice here, there's curry here. If you feel there isn't color, just add the color. Add tomatoes, avocados, onion, beetroot, greens, or mixed salad for your meals, mixed fruit salad for breakfast time. Yeah, you will suddenly get a whole lot of color on your plate. You can then add your seeds. You can add your nuts. That's where you're getting your natural fats from. Now, yeah, I think, remember you mentioned about your mom wanting something more solid than just apple, because we think we don't have enough nutrition. Well, we're not full. Now, if you look at this plate, it's plate of salad. Some of the vegetables over there can be cooked. That's not a problem. It doesn't all have to be raw. But by adding the seeds and the nuts, you're adding the fat, but that is also giving you some of the minerals and vitamins that you don't normally get in your diet. You have to make a conscious decision. If not, what you can do, and we will talk about this on another session as well, when we are making our chutneys, like your coconut chutney or your tamarind chutney or whatever chutneys you make, mint chutney. Add a handful of seeds to it. You can hardly notice the difference in taste or flavors, but what you're adding is a whole lot of nutrition to your diet. And again, I'm conscious of costs, so I'm not asking you to add a whole lot, maybe just a tablespoonful at a time. That's all you need. So why salads? Higher levels of host of powerful antioxidants, vitamin C and E, folic acid, lycopene, and alpha and beta carotene. Now, lycopene you will get in red fruit, like the tomatoes and the watermelon. But the tomatoes, the amount of lycopene increases when you either chop it up fine, blend it, or cook it. So when you cook it, the lycopene increases. Lycopene is something that is essential to fight a whole lot of diseases, including cancer. So antioxidants are substances that help protect the body from damage caused by harmful molecules called free radicals. Now, free radicals are what are bombarded at us, with the environment, with what we are eating. They damage the growth, development, and survival of cells in the body. Their reactive nature allows them to engage in unnecessary side reactions, causing cellular impairment and eventually injury when they're present in disproportionate amounts. They directly impair cell membranes and DNA. Okay, forgetting all that, how we realize we're getting older because our skin is looking not as fresh and whatever? That's the free radical damage. But how do you counteract the free radical damage? Not put a whole lot of creams on it. I mean, creams will help to some extent. But if you're not using the right creams, they won't help anyway. But more importantly, you want to help your skin from the inside. That's why we need the antioxidants. And the antioxidants you get from fruits and vegetables. What about the dark green leafy greens? Colon cleansers. They're a superb source of natural fiber, that you need to be consuming every day. Fiber helps reduce LDL, that's the bad cholesterol, helps control blood sugar, and adequate fiber intake helps with weight loss and healthy weight maintenance. So don't go on a diet. I'm putting diet in quotes if you want to lose weight. Just go on eating more fruits and vegetables. It's because when you're eating lots of fruits and vegetables, you're not adding a whole lot of calories, but you're adding a whole lot of nutrition. So raw or cooked vegetables, there are plenty of great reasons to enjoy both. Eating vegetables provides health benefits. People who eat more fruits and vegetables as part of an overall healthy diet are likely to have a reduced risk of some chronic diseases. Vegetables provide nutrients vital for health and maintenance of your body. So it's not just, you're getting the vital nutrients to grow your body, but for the maintenance, because, every 28 days, your skin, the cells, your skin is renewed. But how is it renewed unless it's getting the right vegetables and nutrients? So what happens when you start eating more vegetables? Apart from one or two, nobody said that they've increased their vegetables. But if you do take up the challenge and eat more fruits and vegetables, this is what will happen. It lowers your blood pressure, not overnight. It'll take time because you haven't been having it for a long time. So it'll take time for the results to kick in, but it lowers your blood pressure, reduce the risk of heart disease and stroke, prevent some types of cancer. And if you do have cancer, again, you need the varieties of fruits and vegetables. Lowers risk of eye and digestive problems and have a positive effect upon blood sugar, which can help keep appetite in check. Now, as I said to you, when you're eating fruits and vegetables, you don't think what nutrients are going in, because we are not trained in that. But most vegetables are naturally low in fat and calories. None have cholesterol. If you have cholesterol, it's because you are eating not plant-based. So you're eating dairy, animal products, meat. In fact, when I say to people, I'm a vegetarian or I'm plant-based, people immediately say, well, I don't eat much meat. It's almost they're trying to justify the meat they're eating. You're eating meat, that is fine, but that's a choice you're making. But if you have cholesterol, rather than taking tablets to lower the cholesterol, if you increase your fruits and vegetables, it will do the same job as what your cholesterol tablets are doing. And if you improve your cholesterol, you'll improve your heart diseases. You will improve your blood pressure. They're all linked together. Vegetables are important sources of nutrients, including potassium, dietary fiber, folate, vitamin A, and vitamin C. The dietary fiber from vegetables as part of an overall healthy diet helps reduce blood cholesterol levels and the risk of heart disease. Fiber is important for proper bowel functions. I think we touched on some of these yesterday. It helps reduce constipation and diverticulitis. Fiber-containing foods such as vegetables help provide a feeling of fullness with fewer calories. Now, if you have irritable bowel syndrome, it's slightly different, because some people with irritable, we can talk about something specific, because if they have more fiber, they'll probably have more diarrhea, etc. But that's because we're trying to heal the gut first. So diets rich in potassium may help to maintain healthy blood pressure. Vegetable sources of potassium include sweet potatoes, white beans, tomato products, beet greens, soya beans, lima beans, spinach, lentils, and kidney beans. Folate helps body form red blood cells. Women of childbearing age who may become pregnant should consume adequate folate from foods and in addition to fortified foods or supplements. This reduces the risk of neural tube defects, spina bifida, and various other fetal developments. What are the sources of folate? Broccoli, Brussels sprouts, leafy green. Now, broccoli, Brussels sprouts, cabbage, kale, they're also part of the family that we're using to help protect us from cancer. Spring greens, spinach, peas, chickpeas, kidney beans, all of these. It's almost like a repetition, but it's because I'm just trying to bring in all the fruits and vegetables and what they're doing to us. Vitamin A keeps eyes and skin healthy and helps to protect against infection. Vitamin C helps heal cuts and wounds and keep teeth and gums healthy. Vitamin C aids in iron absorption. Okay, so having said all that, there's just some people have to be careful if they have arthritic pains. Not all, it doesn't affect everybody, but sometimes it does make a difference. And that is vegetables which are from the nightshade family. And they are tomatoes, aubergines, the sweet peppers, and potatoes. Now, there is a controversy. Some people say, well, you should eat it, some people, because they say that they can cause inflammation. As I said, it doesn't work with everybody. So if you do have a challenge, stop these vegetables for a while and then see how you feel, then how you felt before, and then maybe introduce one thing at a time to see if your body is reacting to it in any way. J. Robb, a clinical nutritionist, says, fruit flush gives your digestive system a break from over-processed foods. Lets low-calorie, fiber-rich fruits and some vegetables clean your system and puts your body into fat-burning mode. Remember, our bodies were made so that they will detox. I'll take you back to that little experiment I showed you regarding the fish and how we were polluting the water where the fish was. It's not that the fish can't clean the water. It will clean the water if you put the right things in. I mean, anybody who keeps fish in a pond or whatever will realize if you start growing plants, the plants will clean the environment. The same thing with our bodies. If we give our bodies the right nutrition, it will naturally clean itself on a regular basis. Fruits the fruits cleanse and vegetables heal. Fruits clean and vegetables heal. So it's important that you have both, but not necessarily that you have both at the same time. Again, fruits that naturally cleanse, whole load of fruits and vegetables. I've mentioned that above as well. Citrus fruits, great for detoxification. That's why, in the morning when you get up, to have, a glass of warm water with lemon or lime in it, helps clear. It's like washing your dishes. If they're very oily, if you have lemon added to it, it'll clean and get rid of the oil fast. No, similar with your insides. Helps fight the free radicals. Also helps with the pH balance. So how much fruit is needed depends on you. But when we said 9 to 11 pieces of fruits and vegetables, don't just fill it with just fruits. Fruits are easy to eat. It should be maybe 3 fruits and 7 vegetables, or 4 fruits and 6 vegetables. It may not be the same every day. Generally, a cup of fruit or 100% fruit juice. When I'm talking about fruit juice here, it has to be fresh fruit, not cartons of juices. And preferably, it's better not to have fruit juices because fruits are easier to eat. If you're not eating enough vegetables, then you can have vegetable juices rather than fruit juices. And dried fruit, they're a concentration of sugar. So although it's fruit sugar, don't go overboard, a little bit. So at least 5 servings of fruits and veggies per day, or 9 to 10, 11, which is essential. Processed food leaves our bodies starving of nutrients. If you're not having any fruits and vegetables, and some people find it very difficult to have, then you can try juicing, because juicing is the best way to extract massive amounts of nutrients from veggies. When you chew, essentially you're juicing in your mouth, so nutrients can be absorbed better. What juicing does is juicing releases approximately 90% of the nutrients in food, 3 times better than chewing. So if the body is overloaded with toxins, you could absorb as little as 1% of the nutrients. And that is important. That's the power of your plate. I think somebody mentioned about the sprouts yesterday, and I mentioned to you how much extra nutrition you get from that. So adding just that little bit, it's not much, but just adding that little bit of the sprouts gives you a whole load of nutrition added to your plate. So challenge for day 2, make one healthy change in your nutrition. You can be laser focused on small attainable goals like these. Add a large serving of leafy greens to lunch or dinner and dinner every day. Switch your beverages to drink only water. If you can't drink water, then try sparkling water, but don't add sugary squashes to it, because again, you're increasing the sugar content. Walk briskly for 15 minutes after dinner. Swap dessert and snacks for lots of fresh fruit. Although I'm saying that, it is important that you, if you're eating good meals, then you shouldn't be snacking in between. Give your stomach a break. so that it can digest the food that you've just eaten. Cook meals with no oil. Use water or broth instead. What you can do is start off with a tomato, so you can get the liquid of the tomato adding rather than the oil for, doing your masala. Remove dairy from your eating plan. Eat oats for breakfast. Ground flax. In Hindi, it's called sanka bij. I don't know how many of you use it, but it is very good because it gives you the, well, it can be used for a whole lot of things, but you can even use the ground flax instead of egg. It's a good egg replacer, depending on what you're doing. Eat all meals at home and pack your meals for 7 days. So any questions? We're going to the questions now, but just before I go to the questions, if you're not having enough vegetables in your diet and you would like to make the changes, then here is a quick recipe. This is very powerful, and it can give you a whole lot of nutrition. 5 carrots, 5 celery sticks, quarter of a beet, depends on how big your beetroot is. If it's a small beetroot, then you can use it. Yeah, use the greens of the beetroot as well. And a small slice of ginger, size of a coin. And I even used this when I was recovering from cancer. Or you can do, I'm giving you this because, again, like yesterday, we talked about how if you have got a whole lot of toxins in your body, it's good to cleanse your body. And this is another natural ginger lemonade that you can do. You can have it first thing in the morning, and again, helps your body to cleanse, but also, get the various nutrients of the benefits rather of ginger and lemon. Okay. You can do a whole lot of juices, but these are all vegetable juices. They're not fruit juices. You can add fruit if you're not used to vegetable juices, just to give it a little bit more flavor, and it tastes nicer, because it's important when you make juices that if you're going to drink juice, you don't want to have it like medicine, but you want to enjoy the drinks. And you can add maybe apple, beetroot is sweet, apples are sweet, carrots are sweet, and they can be added to different vegetables as well. Okay, action steps. I've already suggested some action steps, so let's stop here. And let me see if there are any questions. Any comments? Any questions?
Well, there's a question
Yeah.
on the chat.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
It says, it's from Binju and Jami in KMR. It says, regarding yesterday's session about vegetable, they want to know, do you mean raw vegetables or cooked vegetables we have to increase?
Both. Things like, when I say raw, I'm talking about things like salads. Carrots don't need to be cooked, so you can eat them raw. There's a whole lot of range of vegetables that you can eat raw. So I'm saying, let's have, say, a small salad as starters, and then have the cooked vegetables as well, because then you're getting the variety. Then you're not thinking, oh, have I got this? Have I got that? Have you got that? You've got the color, you've got the variety, you've got the crunch. So, both cooked and vegetables, it would be good to increase.
The next question is from Marak, B. Marak. It says, I was eating raw beetroot and had diarrhea. Is my stomach not able to digest it, or the beetroot is poisonous?
No, beetroot is not poisonous. And how it'll be interesting to find out. When you had the beetroot raw, what did you do? Slice it and eat it, or what?
Maybe
Barak?
Mr. B. Marak, you can speak. You can unmute yourself.
because what you can do is just grate the beetroot, and especially if it's a fine grater, it's easier. It's quite sweet. It's very nutritious. And so that's why the other thing is, how much did you have? So, Mr. Marak rather.
Can't speak using desktop computer.
Okay, but yeah. So my question would be, how much did you eat, and how did he think? Because if it's raw, remember when we're used to cooked food, so you don't have to do that much chewing, although you ought to be doing. So when it's raw, it's more important for you to make sure that you're chewing well, because it's raw and it's harder, and you might not chew as well. So that is another thing. Another thing is, could it be that it was a one-off, or he had the diarrhea because of something else, or a combination? So that is we can look at that as well. So I'm happy for you to write your answers. I see, can't speak. Okay. Type me the answers then. Look at the variety of colors, stimulates appetite. Yes, and each with different nutrients. I agree with you completely. You're most welcome to put in your question in the chat box. Okay. Can't speak. I want to know if thyroid problem is reversible by taking healthy diets like veg, fruit. James, I wouldn't say one way or the other. What I would say is, start making sure that you're eating all the right foods that are needed for thyroid problems. Is it, we need to find out, or you can email me, is it the thyroid problem is high thyroid, different kinds and types. What's your diet like? How long have you had it? But even if you don't completely reverse, you will definitely benefit from it. Yeah. Okay, no more questions. Okay, anybody, any comment on what was today's session?
Binju has written, can we eat fruits and raw vegetables together or mix it?
Okay, normally what we say is, don't mix fruits and vegetables, okay? Because in some ways they do different jobs. That's why, you're saying don't mix it too much. However, when it comes to raw, it's not that critical. See, when you're eating, normally what you say is, you have a meal, a cooked meal, and then maybe have an apple. Now, instead of doing that, it's better to have it the other way around, where you're having the apple first while the food is being done, and then have the food. And the reason over there is because it takes less time for the fruit to digest than the cooked food. The cooked food, you're giving 4 hours to digest, well, at least 2 to 3 hours, isn't it, to digest completely. Whereas the fruit is going to be digested much quicker. Whereas if you eat it afterwards, then your fruit has to wait for all the food to be digested. And then because of the temperature difference, it could, what's the word I'm saying? Because it's sweet and your food is savory, it could, the word escapes me, but you could then have problems like bloating and, feeling uncomfortable after your meal. That's why if you have the fruit first. Now, when it comes to fruits and vegetables, what I tend to do is have it at different times of the day. So if I've had fruits for my breakfast, then I'll have vegetables at my lunchtime. Having said that, the question is whether you can have fruits and vegetables together. In an ideal situation, you'd keep it as separate as possible. But if you have a little bit of fruit along with, say, a salad, if you're making a salad and have maybe you chop an apple or whatever, then it's not going to make that much, you won't have that much problem. Now, another reason why you could have problems is because your stomach is not used to having that much fruits and vegetables. Remember, you have certain bacteria, well, good bacteria and bad bacteria in your gut, which helps to digest your food. Now, if you've been eating a certain kind of food and then bombard the stomach with a whole lot of fruits and vegetables, it'll wonder what's going on here. It's not used to it. That doesn't mean to say don't eat it, but just be careful. Be careful of what you're combining together so the stomach can cope with it. Yeah.
Errol, you can ask your question.
Hello, yes, right. I tried, now you are the experts on this. The only Indian dish I've eaten is from an Indian takeaway, okay? And what we've tried. We like lentil soup, but that's very simple. Carrots, lentils, and onion, with a bit of salt maybe at the end. Hello, but I've tried a dal today, and I was thinking I had the lentils and the spices, so no oil. So onions and spices to start, only a bit of turmeric. Says a spoonful, I put about a half. We're not so used to it. Turmeric, and then a bit of something else. I went in a bit of other spice. Garam masala, that's right, like I said. And then, so after a while, then I put in the veg. Now I thought, what an opportunity. What veg do you put in? This was a Blue Zone recipe, so it should be pretty kosher. But they only used sliced beans and they say to add spinach at the end. But I thought, surely there's a way of piling in the veg to this if we wanted to.
You can. In fact, if you in South India, they have a term which is called sambar, which has a whole lot of vegetables along with the lentils. And that is a great way of adding a whole lot of vegetables to your and lentils to your diet. Go on.
The Indian we do have, it has potatoes and it has carrots.
Yeah, it'll have, because but that's anglicized, that's why.
That's what I thought. Never mind, it's more veg. That's good.
Yeah, but remember, the other thing that is more important, I think, which we as Indians benefit from, is the garlic, the ginger, the coriander, the cumin, the turmeric. All these are essentials in your diet, which in the English diet we don't have. So that's a great way of, having this, because I mean, that's why I said, the Western world is only catching up now with the benefits of what we have. Yeah.
Yes. So everyone out there is in a good spot. They need to add lots of vegetables. Excellent.
Well, having said that, nobody's answering me how many fruits and vegetables they've had yet.
Tell me, because I need your help.
Come on, folks. I'm sure you've had some vegetables today. I'm not that frightening, am I? You don't want to answer?
Maybe I'll request you all to put on your cameras, put your cameras on.
So I'm not talking to a whole group of nobodies.
What I wanted to say was, I think most of us have vegetables.
Yeah.
And maybe non-veg, those who eat non-veg could be once a month or twice a month. And I think a major part of our diet is vegetable.
Go on, then tell me. I'm asking, yesterday I asked you, how many pieces of fruits and vegetables? I got nothing.
And when I visit homes, because we are offered fruits, we are offered salads.
Yeah.
But the thing is, how we are cooking it and how we are eating it is something that we need to really look into. Like the food, like the vegetables we prepare, maybe it's oily, it's spicy, it's fried.
Yeah.
And we are mixing salad and the fruits. And salad is something that we're eating like a dessert. Our fruits are like desserts. At the end of our meal, fruits are offered, salads are offered. So that's something that we need to look into.
Like custard with mixed fruit.
Oh, I know. You have such. I've been where we've had some great fruit salads. Then they put custard. I think you've completely, I know this is what we've got used to. So all you need to do is take the custard out. And if you actually look at the custard, remember, Iris, we've looked at oxidative stress. It comes from custard powder. That's what one of the things that, you don't want. So don't spoil what you're having with that. Now, spices is not an issue. I've got to say this carefully, because some of the spices, like, as I mentioned, garlic, ginger, coriander, turmeric, cumin, starseed, a whole load of them. We've actually done a whole series when in our sessions on that, and we have started increasing our spices because we don't have enough. Now, the problem with maybe Indian cooking could be, I'm not saying it always is, that we fry all these spices with a whole lot of oil. That's what we need to take out. The oil is not good. The spices are good. Coriander is so commonly used in India. It's one of those very important herbs that helps takes mercury out of the, heavy metals out of the body. We didn't know that. We just do it because it's good taste, and that's what we've always done. But it actually has a purpose. And then the other thing is the spice. When it comes to chilies, what I have started doing, use cayenne pepper, because cayenne pepper is better for your stomach than the other.
Chili
yeah. Also, you don't have to have it that spicy that it blows your tongue and you blows your insides out. If you're not careful, if you continue eating like that, a time is going to come when you can't eat anything at all apart from boiled food. Now, you don't want that. So, and then again, when it comes to temperance, that is part of temperance. So we can't pick and choose what we want when it comes to temperance. And I think we who have talked about healthy living have always assumed temperance means no smoking, no drinking. That's it. No. It covers more than that. And so get your spiciness through garlic and ginger rather than chilies or black. Personally, I will not include black pepper in it, because pepper is an irritant to the lining of the stomach. The same thing with, we use mustards, mustard seeds. But when we in Indian cooking use mustard seeds, we just use a little bit for the tarka, right? Now, in the Western world, the mustard is used like how we're using chili. It's concentrated, and they use quite a lot of it. That's not good for you either. But for us, when we are having just a little bit for this, and actually, if you sprout the mustard seeds, full of nutrition. So can you see where I'm coming from? So if you're going to use fruit salad, use it as a starter rather than as afters. And the other, we haven't talked about water, but, it's, not drinking with your meals would be another thing. But I find, because the food is so spicy, then you've got to drink water to, bear the heat.
Ma'am, what about the green chili?
That's what I'm saying. Green chili has lots of vitamin C in it, which is good. But how much is the question?
Yes, has to be in the limit.
Yes. And limit what also happens is, the more you eat, the more your tongue can cope. So don't, again, be temperate about that. You've got green chilies, you've got red chilies, but cayenne pepper, it's like red chili.
Correct.
So that is actually quite soothing for the stomach, and it has quite a lot of benefits. So, that would be better to have. Okay, so Daryl, I'm coming back to you. You said you eat vegetables, in general, I'm talking about here, not just your family. In general, we are having vegetables. Is that correct? Somebody else can answer.
Ma'am, I just want to mention regarding the superfoods, the super vegetables that are available, and we need to identify them and use them. The place where I come from is Ranchi, Jharkhand, and we have lots of category of superfoods available in the market and which are very cheap. I just want to mention one vegetable, which is spike gourd.
Oh, yes.
Spike gourd. That is very tasty and in the category of superfoods. So we need to identify all these which are available and use them.
So I completely agree with you. But don't you think quite a lot of these vegetables are superfoods? So long as we're eating them, it will be a superfood because we're benefiting from them.
Exactly, exactly.
Yeah. And as you said, rightly pointed out, they are not expensive. And if you look at what a poor man's diet is, what is a poor man's diet? Now in India, we have lots of poor people. I think the people on this session are not poor, but we will consider ourselves poor because it's a relative thing. But poor man's diet would be millet bread. Yeah, because it's cheaper. However, it's a superfood. But we have chapatis with oil on it, or parathas which have oil on it. That is terrible. That's actually bad for you. But as I mentioned yesterday, as we get better as far as our financial status is concerned, our food habits go worse because we think we're doing better. I mean, this time when I was in India and I saw cornflakes, and I thought to myself, what nutrition have cornflakes got? But we're paying a lot of money for cornflakes. But that's not chapati and sprout might be far better for are far better for you than having cornflakes. But we've got the money, so we have cornflakes now. And our children are demanding it? And so parents are paying for it. And then we say we don't have enough money for fruits and vegetables. But I appreciate you saying that vegetable. I agree. It's even good for diabetics. Very good for diabetics. Even okra, the ladies' fingers. That is very good. That's not that expensive. Spinach is not that expensive. I know one of the things that when we did in the Southern Asia, they were saying, oh, well, there's a lot of sprays, on these fruits and vegetables. Yeah, there are. We don't live in a perfect world. But then are we saying that our meat is any better? We're getting meat second. I mean, if you're having meat with very little vegetables, you're having vegetables secondhand. You're not having it firsthand. True. Can I make a suggestion that people try brown rice or millet? I don't mind which one you have, but just change your grains for tomorrow. Just try it. You might have to go and buy it if you don't have it, but what we're trying to do is get our mouths familiar with some of the other things we don't eat. The chickpeas. Chickpeas are so nutritious. Recently, in fact, a couple of years ago, when my husband was diagnosed, I was doing a whole lot of research as to what we can do to help him because of the brain tumor he had. And one of the things I found, which I knew chickpeas was good, but what I realized is chickpea is very good. And it actually helps change the DNA. It's that good. So we have, in North India, chickpea is quite commonly used. Is that correct? Chana bhatura is quite commonly used. I don't know how much is used in the house, but if we can just make sure that our spices are not that spicy, so you can have it more regularly, it can be a very important part of your diet. Did B. Marak say anything about his eating the? I've had a dal today using veg. How many? Oh, okay, that's it. Right. Okay.
Uh,
No. Okay. Sorry.
Ma'am,
Yes.
is there any particular salt for diabetic person or has to use a usual salt?
Salt.
Yes.
Well, I would say less salt is best. And I use Himalayan salt or Celtic salt because it has more minerals in it. But having less salt, full stop, would just not just help diabetics, it'll help with blood pressure and all of that as well.
Pastor Surinder, this pink Himalayan salt is senda namak.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah,
आप
yes, yes.
सेंधा नमक यूज कर सकते हैं.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
That is called a black salt, something like
No,
that.
no. There are two. One is pink, one is black.
Yes.
The black salt is slightly different. The taste is different. The smell is different as well compared to the pink Himalayan.
Sure.
Yeah. Yeah.
Thank you.
But with diabetics, if you try cut out the oil
Yes.
and lots of fruits and vegetables and walking, you'll be surprised how your sugar levels will be improved. And millet bread, I don't know, cornbread in North India, you use a lot of cornbread, isn't it?
मक्के का आटा ना.
Makni, huh? Do you have it at home?
We eat it in winters with the saag.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, that is true. But then what other, I'm trying to find out what other grains you use.
Ragi is another option that we
Very
use.
good. Ragi is absolutely a superfood. But again, I don't know about you, but the attitude of us Indians is, oh, Ragi is for poor people. I don't know, maybe it's just in my head, but that is true. Ragi is very good, very nutritious. Or we will use it for the, for the poor people who, when we're giving them to get some nutrition into them, we give them Ragi. Why aren't we giving us nutrition? What is also interesting, totally side aside, this is, I'm not sure about India, but in the Western world, dogs and cats, you get food for dogs and cats. They have more vitamins and minerals in dog food and cat food than in baby food as in human baby food, because they love the animals so much. Because see, it is important. And the same thing when it comes to animal, we take care of the animals because we can't afford them to be ill because people eat them. Yeah. Humans can be ill because we make money from humans being ill, because then we can keep them on medication. Think about it. I'm being facetious here, but think about it. So if you want to keep good health and you want to look good and feel great, simple things like, and there are, when you're talking about health and we're talking about health sessions, it's such a wide topic, to narrow it down. It's very difficult because you can be talking about so many things. But the reason I chose this very simple topic is it is in some ways a very basic topic, but I realized in so many of my sessions that people are just not eating fruits and vegetables. We're talking about superfoods, we're talking about various things, but we are not talking about simple, basic changes in lifestyle. We're talking, buying expensive instruments or equipment to do exercise when we can walk. Same thing with water. We can have expensive machines, but we just need to drink more water. It's available to everybody. You don't have to have money to be healthy. Well, a little bit of money helps, but you know what I'm trying to say.
Brother James has a question.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Go on.
Ma'am, first of all, I would like to thank you for this wonderful time, and I'm really blessed to be a part of this program.
Thank you.
My question is it milk good for health? Because whenever I take it, I feel like I don't feel very good. My stomach become upset, and so. But so many people said it is, if you don't take milk, you're missing out like calcium, which is a basic requirement for your bones, even for a small baby. Milk.
You're talking about milk?
Yes.
Are you talking about cow's milk, or you are talking about plant milk?
Most of the time it's cow's milk, which is available in the market. So.
Okay, cow's milk. Who is the cow's milk for? Think about it. Let's go back to basics.
Not for us. It's for the calf.
It is for the calf. Let's leave it for the calf. You do get calcium from cow's milk, but you get a whole lot of other problems from cow's milk. You want calcium? Let me ask a general question. Where do you get your calcium from? Anybody? Where do you get your calcium from?
Leafy vegetables.
Thank you. Greens. If you think green, you get your calcium. Now, the reason you have stomach problem is quite actually, it means that you actually listen to your body. That is very good. 94% of Indians, Asians, and Africans are highly sensitive to milk. So you shouldn't be drinking milk. Leave it for the calves. What you want, if you want to have milk, or if you're having porridge, or I don't know when other times you will need milk, but if you're wanting that, you can have oat milk, you can have rice milk, you have coconut milk, you've got cashew milk. Cashews and almonds, okay, will be a little bit more expensive. I understand that. Oat milk can't be. And that you can make it at home. Rice milk can't be expensive. You can make it at home. Literally, when you cook it, you blend it and you strain it if you want it really fine. That's as simple as that.
That's right.
So
thank you.
Yeah, even including babies. And soya milk, one of the reasons why soya milk is so good is soya is one of those products which are really very nutritious. Now, when I say soya, I mean in its natural state. When it's processed to make it look like chicken and meat and all that, that's not what I'm talking about. Okay, that is highly processed. I'm always for staying close to nature. But when you're thinking of milk, you're literally soaking the soya milk, soya beans, overnight or 24 hours, 48 hours, rinsing it, blending it, you've got your milk.
That's right. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, ma'am. I have one question.
Go on.
Yeah. What about the mushroom that we can have for calcium, alternate for calcium?
Yeah, you've got mushrooms are good, and including for vitamin D as well. I mean, okay, in India, you probably don't need vitamin D like for how we need vitamin D here. But yeah, mushrooms are good so long as you know that they're, edible mushrooms. There's a whole lot of research now which talk about mushrooms. Now, I know there are some people who, should I say, don't agree with mushrooms because they say that mushroom is a fungi. But I know I've done a whole lot of research on mushrooms, and I haven't found negative things on mushrooms yet. They are very positive, and they are for cancer or, for lifestyle diseases, they seem to be very good. So I would say maybe, I am happy with it, do your own research, but, and you can decide whether you want to have it. I have it. And some mushrooms are even better than others. But you know what they say, a recent research I came across, even if you have one mushroom a day, the small mushroom, it is beneficial. So, yeah.
Thank you, ma'am.
You're welcome. Do you eat mushrooms?
Yes, we
Yes.
eat.
Okay. Yeah.
Yes.
You know, I didn't realize that you could buy mushrooms in India, but nowadays we can buy everything in India. So, yeah. Now, we've got what, 3 more days to go. But if people have anything specific that you know we could address, then by all means, you know, let's know so we can direct it to any specific area. But otherwise, I'm hoping that you know what I shared with you about the different colors today, you know how important they are, that you will start seeing more color on your plate. Somebody mentioned about cooked and raw vegetables. If you look at your, say, if you're making a vegetable curry, if you look at that curry, and then if you have similar vegetables, but in a raw state, just look at them, you will find that the raw state look more vibrant than the cooked version. We're used to cooked version because that's what we always do. So that's why I always say, why don't we have a mixture of the two? Because then, you know, you've got the vibrancy and it's attractive to your eye. It's good. When kids come home from school or whatever, you know, if you cut and chop carrot sticks and cucumber sticks, things like that, or apple sticks, and let them eat that, they probably will not necessarily be then wanting things which are not the best for them. If it's in the house, they're going to eat it. If it's in front of them, they're going to eat it. But if you don't keep it out for them, a number of times, I mean, this is me as a mother speaking, when my kids were growing up, many times, you know, I would have carrot sticks and cucumber sticks, but if they were playing and they went in to eat it, I said, oh, don't eat that because you won't have your food later. I don't know if has anybody else done that, because you want them to eat well at the meal table. However, all your meal is cooked. They're having and they're enjoying carrot sticks. Don't stop them. Give it to them. I mean, if they're asking for crisps and chocolate, then yeah, I'll say don't. You know, that's not the best. But if you put in front of them, or if you're buying the kind of things that you're buying, the kind of things that you're shopping will determine what you're eating.
I have autoimmune disease.
Yeah.
And last year I had inflammation in my right ankle and I had uveitis as well. And ever since that, I have changed my diet completely. And since yesterday, without oil as well.
Wonderful.
You mentioned today a screen shot on a slide on nightshades.
Yes.
Is that something that I should also consider? Because I am completely vegan.
Yeah.
No dairy products, no eggs, no meat.
Good. Good.
But I have not considered about tomatoes and.
No.
I think
do you have
potatoes?
Do you have arthritis? Not really.
No, I just have inflammation in my joints.
Yeah, but arthritis could be an inflammation in the joints as well. Is it all the joints?
I had it in my ankle and in my spine, but ever since I changed my diet, the inflammation is gone.
Oh, wonderful.
I don't have the inflammation anymore.
That's proof. Yeah. Yeah. What you can do is, if you don't have inflammation and you don't have pain, then you don't have to do it, because, you know, like, for example, tomatoes, they've got lycopene, which is really important. And they've got a whole lot of, tomatoes is such a important fruit or vegetable, however you want to call it. So in that case, I want to say no. But if you find that you have pain and inflammation again, then what you can do is stop them for a while. See if that's making any difference. and then you want to give it a big 2-3 months of not eating it, and then introduce one at a time to see if it's going to make any difference.
Okay.
Now, regarding potatoes, in India, we don't eat as much potatoes as we have in the West. We normally have a sabji, a small amount added to a vegetable, etc. So I don't think it's going to be that critical. But it is true that we have the sweet potato is far more nutrition than the white or red potato. So if you want to change over to that and have more of that, that'll be good.
Okay.
Because we get sweet potato in India, quite comfortably. So you could try that.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Ma'am, I have a question here.
Yes.
My wife suffered from IBS initially, then later on she was diagnosed with gastroenteritis, then she had pancreatitis, and lastly it was diagnosed that she was a gluten allergic.
Oh, okay.
So that was in 2006, and since then she's been avoiding wheat and barley. So she's having only rice. That's the only option. And obviously she has. Yeah, oats, yeah, she takes oats, but for
millet?
the millets also, all the rest of the grains she takes.
Yeah.
But for the lunch, obviously she requires rice. And she has put on weight because of that.
Well, is she having white rice?
White rice, yeah.
Yeah. Try changing to the brown rice.
Okay.
Because brown rice, what will happen is you will eat less of the brown rice, and you've got a whole lot of nutrients to go with the because what is happening is when you're looking at brown rice, it's polished, and then it comes into the white, becomes the white rice which you're eating, which converts to sugar very quickly. And really, when it comes to IBS, okay, different people have different things. Even that could cause triggers. So if you're having brown rice, and maybe not, is it Tuesday, Wednesday, I think, I'm going to do the practical session where I'm showing you how to dextrinize the brown rice and then cook it. It just helps to make the rice, to me, I think it's tastier, but also more absorbable by the body than if you're just having it on its own. But I'm just trying to think, you said lunchtime you want the rice. Is that because you want to have it with the curry and dal and whatever?
Exactly.
Yeah, but there are other ways to do it.
Mm-hmm.
We just need to find out other ways. There's bulgur wheat or crushed wheat where you're cooking the wheat as opposed to making flour out of it. Now that is far more nutritious than making the flour and using that. And I think if she increases the vegetables as well on her plate, the amount of quantity of rice will reduce.
Yes, that's
and
what
that
we're
will
trying
help.
to do. Yeah.
Yes, that would be a big help.
And another question, is there any evidence that gluten allergy could be reversed with vegetables?
Yeah. What sometimes happens is your body is reacting to something. It could be that your body, the combination of things has, and then it comes to a point when the body says, no, I'm not, I don't like this at all. So now that she has stopped completely all the gluten, if she wants, she can try, well, let me say this, make sure that your insides are nice and clean. It's like a spring clean, right? And then introduce a little bit. Because sometimes you have the reactions because your body is, what should I say, not reacting to the substance because of all that is going on in the body. But if the body is nice and clean now, then your absorption is better.
Mm-hmm.
So if your absorption is better, then it's going to absorb your wheat better. But another thing as well is, again, which type of wheat? If we can find a wheat which is the original rather than one which has been, what's the word I want? Yesterday we used hybridized. If we can find that wheat, it'll be even better, because that hasn't gone through the various processes. So that'll be better. So try that.
In India, we get Kapali wheat. It's of emmer grain.
Oh yeah.
Maybe Shekhar, you can try that for Savita. It's called Kapali wheat.
Okay.
And make sure that you get the whole.
Amazon, I think. Sorry.
Okay. Kapli as in Kapli.
Khapali. Yes.
Okay. Kapli.
Khapali.
Okay.
I was trying that because I'm also gluten intolerant, but it did not suit me. So I'm also completely gluten free. I usually eat Ragi or Quinoa or
oh, you can get quinoa.
Rice. Yes.
Okay.
And brown.
Not very expensive.
It's not so expensive. It's reasonable.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Quinoa is very nutritious, but like my mother says, it doesn't taste like rice, so I was trying to give her because she can't chew anymore, but she's very much of the old school, and she wants rice. So yeah, so you're trying to find out other things which you can have without, but I would say, having some of the other what do you call it, grains is a much better idea than finding substitutes for wheat, because wheat is very that causes a whole lot of inflammation as well.
Yes. I've tried recently a very good dish. I don't know, maybe you'll know. Khichdi, right? Khichdi.
Yeah. Yes.
So you put equal amounts of lentils and equal amount of brown rice.
Yeah.
And make the khichdi. And in the last, when you steam the hot pot,
yeah,
so you put whatever greens you want to put. So
yes,
kale or palak or whatever.
Yes.
And then steam it just for that last bit
yes.
of that one
yes.
one whistle.
Yeah.
And then eat it with maybe, salad or salsa or something.
Yeah.
It tastes really good.
Yes. Yeah. Because, and if you like, if you have a fast day at all, if you have the mung dal to make the khichdi, it's even better because it's lighter on the stomach.
Yeah.
And if you're going to have the khichdi at lunchtime, if you can have it with the beans, no problem. But don't have it in the evening because it becomes too heavy. But I totally agree with you. It's a complete meal in itself, what you just said. Because you've got the brown rice, you've got the lentils or beans, and then you've got the greens. And these are the three main things, if we can have, we're doing very well. Yeah. Okay. Anybody use any other milk apart from cow's milk?
I've tried almond milk. I've also tried porridge with coconut milk.
Oh, yes.
But I prefer the almond milk more.
Do you make your own almond milk or you buy it? You make it?
Very rare, but we don't drink milk.
In which case you don't.
Yeah, on a regular.
Okay, so even if you don't drink milk, what is good is, soaking, say, 5 almonds overnight, and then next day peeling the skin and eating the almonds, so that's another source of good fat, whole lot of nutrition as well.
Yes.
What's that other nut where you get selenium?
Walnut?
No,
Walnut? No,
hard.
sorry.
The
Brazil.
other hard, Brazil.
Brazil
I don't know if you get Brazil nuts in India, but that is very good for selenium, and all men should be taking because probably the same as India, but at least over here, they're not putting selenium in the sun, in the soil. So that mineral, is, we don't get it in our nutrition. But apart from peanuts, because peanut is not a nut, you need to have a little bit of nuts in the diet. Not a lot, nothing more than what would fit in the palm of your hand, more than enough. And that will, have, different kinds of nuts plus seeds as well. Again, seeds are important. We have sesame seeds sometimes, or maybe, when we're making some Indian sweets, but otherwise, do we use, and I know we used to make chutney with it, but I don't know how many of you use sesame seeds. Again, very good source for women. When you're exhausted and your blood levels are low, sesame seed is particularly good, and you need to have it. If you're making chutney out of it, that's fine. Same thing with flax seed. Yeah, I mentioned, I couldn't see all of you at that time, but flax seed, I don't know if you're eating flax seed. Again, another very important, especially if you're on plant-based, you're not getting any source of oily fish, we have it, omega-3s, in which case, you need to have flaxseed in your diet. Again, make chutneys out of that. And, I remember, probably because my grandmother was a Brahmin, our plates, when it was served, we had a little bit of chutney, a little bit of pickles, and all those things. So that's when I think of all these chutneys, etc., I always think of that. While as here in England, we just don't do it because we don't eat like that anymore. But there was a reason why those things were like that. Why you had all those things. They had a little bit of fermented food, and a little bit of the sprouts, because all these are very high in nutrition and we need it, but we've gone away from it and we end up eating non-veg and white rice with no color. So if you're not having vegetables or fruits, just think what you're missing. And I hope that today's session has given you a little bit of what I was trying to get across.
I think the soy milk, it tends to be a little bit harder on stomach. Is it true?
Increase the water in it. I don't know.
Yeah, that's what I do. The oats, if you soak oats in water,
yeah,
especially the ones, the smaller, the flake kind,
yeah,
the water comes out from it after soaking. Can we consider it as a good oatmeal?
Well, personally,
I don't know how they process oatmeal, how they make oatmeal in the stores, but I saw that it comes out like the water if it is soaked, and water gets milky, and also it tastes really good to me. I think that was a good alternative for me when I was trying to find something instead of soy milk.
Right. How oats work is you get the oat grain, and that is, goes through that first what do you call it, the machine where it's cut. So then we have steel oat cuts. So that's just where the oat is cut in half. So very little process. Then it goes through a machine to roll the oats, and then you get the jumbo oats. Then that remainder is rolled again. Then you get the what we call over here porridge oats. Actually, you in India as well have porridge oats. Then literally the leftovers, are even then processed to get you that fine, almost powdery kind of oats.
Oh, I see. Okay.
So if I was you, I would go to a step or two above it. And if you just soak it even, it will turn like milk. But what I do is take a little bit of oats with water. If you blend it fine, it becomes oat milk. So
yeah, I'm not sure whether I can get steel cut oats here.
Okay, forget steel cut. You could get the jumbo oats or the porridge oats.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, try it.
Mhm.
And one of the reasons I'm saying that is, again, because we're trying to stay close to nature, less process. If we can,
Yes.
less process, the better.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Not a problem. Okay. Is that all the questions for today?